Stuck in gridlock again? Ditch the brake lights and get a Peach Pass.
With Peach Pass, I'm not just getting to work faster. I arrive ready to take on the day.
That's Chris, who's been taking the express lanes for years.
My employees love it too.
Less traffic, less stress. Get to your life faster with Peach Pass. Sign up at peachpass.com.
Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. I always like to kick things off with something fun and interesting. And have you heard about magnet fishing? I don't know where I've been, but I guess it's a big thing on the internet. A lot of folks are just going magnet fishing, then posting their results up on social as well as YouTube. What you do is you get these high-powered magnets, and then you toss them into bodies of water, and then you just reel them back in to see what you can find. Well, James Kane and Barbie Estina, a couple from Queens, New York, they decided to go magnet fishing. And imagine their surprise. What? The magnet latched onto something super heavy. They hauled it up, and it was a massive safe. Oh, my God. The two managed to crack it open. They found themselves staring at $100,000. Yes, $100,000. It was all wet and soggy, but still went magnet fishing. They pulled up a safe with $100,000 on the inside. Whoa. Let me tell you something. Speaking of magnets, I dated a magnet once. He was very, very attractive. Oh, yes, that was a bad one. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Commando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing now is a tech thing, right? Oh, my gosh. Now, you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. And, of course, we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Commando. Every single day, I go to at least 35 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things you need to know that's happening right now. And we're going to start with Donald Trump. We're not going to talk about the candidate. We're not going to talk about his politics. Instead, I want to talk to you about Donald Trump deep fakes, how to spot them and how not to be taken by them. And when I say taken, I mean cheated out of your money by contributing to Trump or anyone else. Because let me tell you, the world is just awash in a tidal wave of Trump deep fakes shared on social media to wallop you emotionally. That's what they want. Emotionally, they want you to be angry. They want you to be sad. They want you to be happy. They want you to be scared. You name it. All in the hope that you're going to hit that big old share button. You're going to give money or both. So here's the deal. Before you contribute to any campaign, I want you to be really 100% certain that you're contributing to the real thing. Never donate using a link that you get in an email. The only place that I want you to donate is at the official website of the candidate of your choosing. And yes, there are deep fakes of Biden flowing out there too, but it just seems to like to have more Trump deep fakes right now. Moving on to number 2, let me tell you, if you buy a Tesla truck, you better really, really love it. And here's why. Because if you ever buy one, I want you to study the sales contract carefully because buried deep in the legalese is wording that if you buy the truck, you're stuck with it for at least a year. You cannot trade it in, you cannot sell it, and if you do this anyway, you're agreeing to pay Tesla $50,000 in damages. Tesla, it seems, is worried that unhappy customers are going to sell the trucks with low mileage and then, yes, hurt the truck's sales. So, if you're buying one, be sure that you really, really want it. Wait, you better love it because you and that truck are together, whether you like it or not, for at least a year. Moving on to number 3. Okay, even though summer is not yet officially here, many parts of the nation are under excessive heat warnings. Here in Phoenix, where I live, oh my gosh, we're bracing for 113 degrees, which brings me to parents, kids, and cars. You see, every year we lose about 37 young children to car heat-related deaths. And some of these parents are now trying to place the blame for their neglect on the car's manufacturer. Yes, you heard me right. Forgetting that a baby is in the backseat of a hot car is negligence, pure and simple. The danger is so obvious that it should be criminal. Summer temperatures inside locked cars can easily reach 150 degrees. So car makers are working hard to provide tech and alarm systems to let you know when you've left someone behind. Still, if you leave your baby in a hot car, tech or not, alarm or not, it's not the car manufacturer's fault. The only one to blame is you. So pay attention. Moving on to number 4, let's talk about our credit cards. We've become so used to paying for things by simply tapping our phones or credit cards to some device at the checkout. But credit card fraud is rampant. So are you ready for the next step in identification? You better smile. That's right. You see, biometric payment schemes have been tried and rejected. No one wants to provide a fingerprint at checkout. So with MasterCard, JP Morgan Chase, and other credit card companies on board, the next level in fighting fraud is your face. They say it's the ultimate form of biometric identification short of a blood test. So the banks believe that facial recognition is not invasive. I mean, after all, we carry our faces around with us, out in the open, everywhere we go. We're being recorded everywhere. So raising a privacy issue about this is going to be really, really hard. So the ones most open to facial recognition, well, it's who you might expect, the Gen Zers. Millennials will come along next, then the Gen Xers, and then the boomers will be slower. But of course, with inflation as rampant as it is, facial ID or not at the checkout, it still feels like giving blood. Whoa, I know. Finally, this coming in at number 5. Do you want to sell a car online? I want you to be super careful. Facebook Marketplace is just crawling with scammers, and they're getting fabulous at just fooling you. This story from Emmanuel Russo in Beaufort, Georgia, about an hour outside Atlanta. Now, he thought he had a great deal lined up for his Ford Mustang Mach-E. The buyer seemed legit, and they agreed to meet in a parking lot, public place. The buyer handed Russo a check for $26,900. Russo said, the check looks real, it feels real, everything looks real about it. He sold the car, and the buyers just drove off, right? Well, the next day, he took the check to the bank. Well, you can probably guess because I'm talking about this. And they told him the paper's real, everything is real, but it's not a real account. Now, I've seen a picture of the check, and let me tell you, it looks real. It even has that hologram sticker. But you have to remember, scammers can easily get these fake checks on the dark web. Luckily, a few days later, police were able to track down Russo's car, and they were able to make an arrest. So here's the thing. Fake checks are getting super easy to buy and make. There are marketplaces where people can buy absolutely legit ones. So if you're going to sell your car online, make sure that the person who buys it goes to the bank where you can cash the check together. If they don't want to do that, okay, steer clear. Oh, and speaking of fakes, in every koi pond of 4 or more, I don't know if you know, there's always at least one fake one. You've got kois A, B, and C, and then you have the decoy. Oh, that was so painful. It hurt. But it was funny, right? All right, we have a viral trick to know who's behind an unknown number. This is really clever stuff. Oh, there's a new thread at the gas pump I need to tell you about. And if you're going to be traveling this summer, I got to tell you the new shtick that the airlines are pulling to even get more of your data. And of course, we have your great phone calls, and you have me, Kim Commando.
Have you heard about the 2018 study that showed half of prenatal vitamins tested had unacceptable levels of heavy metals? No? Well, now you have. I'm Kat, mother of 3 and founder of Ritual, the company making traceability the new standard in the supplement industry. I remember staring at my prenatal vitamins and finding all these things I was trying to avoid. High amounts of heavy metals, synthetic colorants, and unnecessary ingredients. So, at 4 months pregnant, I quit my job and started Ritual because I believe that all women deserve to know what they're putting in their bodies and why. I'm so proud of our prenatal vitamin. The ingredients are 100% traceable, it's third-party tested for microbes and heavy metals, and recently received the Purity Award from the Clean Label Project. You see, we trace like a mother because, let's be honest, no one cares quite like a mother. But don't just take my word for it. Trace for yourself with 25% off at ritual.com/podcast.
Okay, it is the absolute last chance for you to enter or win a brand new iPhone valued at $799. That's right. I want to give it to you. I want you to win it. You have to go to this place, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. It's the last weekend for you to enter to win the iPhone, so you better do it now while you're thinking about it. Head over to winfromkim.com. You might be saying like, okay, what's the catch, Kim Commando? The catch is that you have to get at least one issue of my free newsletter, and you're going to love it You can unsubscribe if you want. Again, that address is winfromkim.com. All right, aside from my show here, I host a wildly popular podcast called Kim Commando Today. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. But in it, I get to talk to some really interesting people like Bryan Johnson. Now, he's just not any tech mogul. After cashing in big time to the tune of $400 million, wow, he's now taking on a whole new venture. He doesn't want to grow old. Even though he's in his 40s, some parts of his body work more like an 18-year-old. And he's really deep into data tracking, everything from the nitty-gritty of his heart rate variability to specifics of his sleep quality, including like minutia of what goes on at nighttime. Here, take a listen. So let's start at the beginning, Bryan. What made you embark upon this, as you say, a rejuvenation athlete, taking your life in this direction?
It was a result of some thought experiments I did. And I like thought experiments because they help me, they show a mirror of what the most common thoughts are of one's time and place and allows you to travel in time. Okay, so here's the first thought experiment. Imagine that you're able to whisper in the ears of people who live in the year 1870. And you say to them, hey, just a heads up, there are these new ideas about these microscopic objects that are the source of infection. They're called germs. And if doctors wash their hands between surgeries, if they clean their instruments, if they wash their hands again before between delivering babies, that may reduce the death rate dramatically in this situation. Now, if you're in the 1870s, if your common response is going to be, that's nuts. You're telling me some invisible thing is causing death. And we can't see it. So it's just like this, is this like some sort of, otherworldly thing? And so this is an example where the future is always present and it smashes itself up against the rocks of our current thinking. And that's what Blueprint is. Blueprint is from the future and it smashes up against the current norms. And so the kinds of things you guys were observing ahead of time is exactly the predicted response.
Well, it's an interesting analogy because I thoroughly believe that, think about, I still can't believe that people would say that when you smoked a cigarette, it would coat your throat, right?
8 out of 10 doctors agree. Go with filtered cigarettes.
Yes. And then, of course, we all know what happened after that. So take us through your typical day, Bryan.
Yeah, so I'll just to complete this thought experiment and what you said, and then I'll go through my day. So to complete that exercise, if we imagine that the 25th century is whispering in our ears and they say, psst, what would they tell us? And this is the entirety of my project. I think they would say, don't die. That after 4.5 billion years on this planet, we are now baby steps away from superintelligence. Now, when we have superintelligence in a decade or so, it's going to be a billion times smarter than us, a level of intelligence that is unimaginable to us. It's possible that with the superintelligence, we will be able to solve aging and we may be able to live for a duration of time and with the level of wellness that is, again, unimaginable to us. And so the observation is in the year 2024, the future is present. The question is, can we see it? And so in conjunction with Blueprint, I say, don't die individually, don't kill each other, don't kill the planet, and align AI with don't die. It is the only thing on humanity's to-do list.
Wow.
I don't know if we're going to be able to check that box. But like Kim said, What are you doing on a daily basis so you don't die?
I do about 100 things in a given day, and I try to make them invisible to me because I try to make it just part of my norms. And so the unique thing we did is we looked at every single scientific publication ever done on health span, lifespan. We then graded the evidence of each of those things, and then we did the power laws. And we said, where is the best evidence for the best health span, lifespan extension? And then we implemented every single one of those things. Well, not everyone. We implemented the power laws in me. And then I became the most biologically measured person in human history. And so my daily regimen is basically the most scientifically accurate approach on how to go about longevity and health span. And so, for example, I go to bed about 8:30 every night. Well, that's not true. I go to bed at exactly 8:30 every night. And it's very precise. And sleep is my number one life priority. I demonstrated 8 months of perfect sleep using a wearable. It was the first time, I think, in human history where someone demonstrated that level of sleep consistency. And I wanted to show that it could be done. And then I wake up around 4:35, 5:30. I wake up naturally. And then I'll do a 10,000 lux light in my eyes to get a few minutes of light. I'll weigh myself on my scale to get body composition data. I'll take my inner ear temperature. I measure that very closely. My body temp in the morning is around 94.9, 95.1. So I'm about 3 degrees Fahrenheit lower than what I was before doing Blueprint. And then I'll go downstairs. I'll do some HRV therapy, which is like your nervous system therapy. I do this little thing on my ear that has electrical current. And then I'll work out for an hour, and then I'll eat a few pounds of vegetables for breakfast. I'll do a few more therapies. I'll work for a couple hours. I have a few doctor's appointments and in the afternoon where I'll do various measurements. And then I have a nighttime protocol. And so basically I have like 2 or 3 full-time jobs. I'm building various companies and I'm doing this. So it's a lot of work. And I have an entire team helping me do this. But the thing is, I guess it's important to say is you don't need to spend $2 million and you don't need to do my lifestyle. I can give you 5 simple rules that are low cost that you can do to get the majority of the benefits. But you definitely do not need to be Bryan Johnson to achieve these benefits. You can do them in a low cost fashion.
So what are those 5 things?
There's 5 power laws. 1 is don't smoke. Number 2 is 6 hours a week of exercise. But even if you can't do 6 hours, even 1 hour, if you're at 0, is great. 3 is eat a Blueprint-like diet, or you can say a Mediterranean-like diet. 4 is maintain a body mass index of between 18.5 and 22.5. And then number 5 is moderate alcohol consumption or 0. Those 5 things will get you to a life expectancy of around 92 years old. And then, of course, it also is helpful if you can try to avoid bad things. So try to avoid, junk food. Try to avoid other things that would otherwise cause damage to your body. But the basics really are within reach of everyone. And then, as I mentioned before, making sleep your number 1 life priority. Like literally nothing's more important than sleep because everything else is a consequence of your sleep.
Well, this is a serious question. It may seem childish, but it's serious. In researching for this interview, multiple times in multiple different sources, it talked about that you want to make sure that you don't age your penis and your rectum. And it focused on that. Is that something that you put out there? Is that something that's important for all of us? Why would all these articles focus on those 2 parts?
Yeah, I mean, old rectums get cancer.
Okay. So that's why you're focusing on the rectum.
Yeah. And the penis is, it's sexual health is a bit of a taboo topic. And I am trying to raise awareness that our sexual health is really important to our psychology. It's representative of our sleep habits. It's representative of our diet. It basically, if you're not performing well sexually, you have other problems in other places of your life. And so it's a conversation that is needed. It's helpful. I mean, I've had so many of my friends approach me in private and say, I'm in a bad spot and I'm not quite sure how to crawl back out. But when you don't have sexual function, either desire or function, it's pretty devastating psychologically. And so I've really tried to just say, look, I'm playing around, I'm having fun. I'm more than willing to bring up topics that are controversial, that are awkward, but they're really important to all of us. There's like few people who don't want a, productive, healthy sexual life.
Hey, by the way, if you want to watch the interview, you can head over to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. And you can hear our entire chat on Kim Komando Today, wherever you get your podcasts. Just make sure that you just search for Komando with a K, of course. All right. I always like to pass along some great tips to save you money. And, we get the same message every year. Hello, it's your internet provider. We have to raise the price of your service yet again. You're like, oh my gosh. So how can you get that internet bill down? Okay, first of all, just know it's super tempting to sign up for the highest priced, fastest internet plan, but you probably don't need it. So what I want you to do is make your best guess at how many hours you stream video, you play games, you browse the web, and a whole bunch more. Then I want you to call your internet provider. You may be able to drop a price tier depending upon how many devices and how much data that you're using. So when you're on the phone, I want you to ask if you signed up for any promos when you initially got your service. Those are the ones that, they last forever, but you got a great deal when you signed up. And then play hardball. Here's the deal. I want you to make sure that you ask for somebody called a retention specialist. It's their job to make sure that you don't cancel your internet service, and they will bend over backwards to keep you because it's always cheaper to keep a current customer than go get a new customer. Hey, we got more of your phone calls coming up here on the show.
Stuck in gridlock again? Ditch the brake lights and get a Peach Pass.
With Peach Pass, I'm not just getting to work faster. I arrive ready to take on the day.
That's Chris, who's been taking the express lanes for years.
My employees love it too.
Less traffic, less stress. Get to your life faster with Peach Pass. Sign up at peachpass.com.
We're going to be talking about how airlines are getting really data hungry. You're not going to believe what they're tracking about you as you're going to be traveling this summer. And also a new threat at the gas pump you need to be aware of, because I don't want you to get taken by that. But have you ever received a text message from a number that you don't recognize? Instead of saying like, oh my gosh, I don't know who this person is. I wonder why they're calling me. I'll look them up on Google to see if there's a way that I can figure out who it is. Well, this is an insider secret. If you get a text from an unknown number, mobile payment apps like Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal, they can help you put a name to that number. You just paste the number into the app, and then the mystery caller's name just might be unveiled. Now, I tested this out on a number who I knew someone had a Venmo. Well, their name just popped right up. Now, this hack only works if you have an account with a mobile payment app and the sender has to use their real name and number inside the app. Well, what about the flip side? If you don't want to be found out this way, make your account private and in the app settings under Friends and Social, toggle off phone contacts. Yeah, it's that easy to find somebody's name and number by using Venmo. It's just nutso. All right, Christina in Denver, Colorado. Hi there, Christina.
So I had a question. I get all of your emails, and they're amazing.
Well, thank you.
But you do them so many times a week, and you do your radio station, plus you're married, plus you got kids, plus I'm sure you have just different hobbies and things like that you do. I don't know how you find time, one, to do all of that every single week with all of the tips and the tricks and
it's a lot.
The jokes.
Yeah,
yes,
the jokes.
It's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot.
I love them.
Yes. I'm glad you like my jokes, because I get people who are like, oh, Kim Commando, cut the jokes. I'm like, no, life is too serious. And,
oh, my gosh.
You know,
I shared the one from today. So the one from today about where the tag on the shirt said, remove the child.
Yes. That was, you know what? I saw that. I'm like, I mean, do we really need? Okay, so it was a tag on obviously a 3 to 4 year old shirt. Okay, and underneath in the warnings it said, "Remove child before washing." Okay,
right.
Okay, so you know what that means, Christina? Okay, that somebody tried to. Yes, somebody tried to wash the kid with the shirt on. Otherwise, we wouldn't have that warning on there. But you know, it's. I really love what I do. I mean, I really do. I'm so specialized, and I have a great team. I really do. As far as here at the studios, I mean, each and every one of our team members, they pull more than their weight. They do, and I know that.
Right.
Okay. And I know this because, like, last night before I was going to bed, I was like, oh, and I'm one of these things like, I got to get it out of my head, or else I'm like, hey, we need to do this tomorrow. We need to do this tomorrow. We need, or get this done or whatever. I try not to. I tell people, you don't have to answer me over the weekend, but if I don't get it done, or if I don't tell you right then,
I don't send it.
Yes, I'm going to forget. And of course, we can always schedule emails, which is what I try to do if I'm on email. But I'm finding like Google Chat is just really the easiest thing to do, because you don't have to say like, Christina, hi, Christina, how are you? Just wondering, you just get into chat and say, Christina, can you take care of this for us? And I think that would be great. But it is definitely a time management, because I also get in 20 miles a week. Okay, as far as running and walking, because, if you don't have your health, what do you have, right?
Right.
And so I try to get out in the morning, which I did this morning. So I was late to a Zoom call at 8:30, but I thought to myself, I woke up, I'm like, you know what? I need to get my steps in. I need to get my mileage in. I need to do it. And if I'm going to be late for that client, well, I'm sorry, but that's just the way that it has to be.
I'm the same. I do anywhere from like 14 to 17,000 steps a day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And it has
you have to.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just sit on your butt. So we don't want to do that. But then I have a wonderful gal here, Maddie, who helps me pick the content for the news, for the shows and the podcasts, and and then Allie helps with the newsletters, and John and Jeremy, they're also involved, and Mark is editing, and Amber's putting it together, and it really is a team effort, because then we have Charles and Mackenzie, and then Tracy selling, and Kip selling, and Amber Barnett just keeps the whole thing together. You know what I mean? It's like, but
there's so many aspects that you guys do. Like in one email, right? It has things that I might like that you've already tried on Amazon for me to buy, or you have a joke, and then you have a trivia, and then you have knowledge about, like, hey, don't be caught on spam. I mean, there's so many aspects in every email that it's just like, how does she do it?
Well, but that's because, as I say, every single thing is a tech thing, right? I mean, everything that we touch right now. Okay. And then when I'm done with my day, I do make a conscious effort to give dedicated time to my family. And so, and if somebody's texting at the dinner table, I'm like, you better put that down right now, because that is just not happening in my world. And then I'm also in charge of the family. Because when my mother passed away, she said, you're the matriarch. I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, yes, you are. Okay. I'm like, so now I've got additional responsibilities, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't have it any other way. Because people are saying to me, why are you still doing this? You can go retire. You can go live in Maui if you want. But I don't want to. I want to be.
Know that we don't want you to either.
Well, thank you.
It's great.
Well, I want to be Martha Stewart in a bikini on the cover of Vogue magazine when I'm 84 years old. Okay, I just don't want to be Martha Stewart in jail. Okay, that's it.
Right.
Okay. But
don't go.
But
there.
I want to do that. But I appreciate your call today, because it's nice to get an acknowledgement of everything that we put together. But I will tell you, it's not just me. If it was just me, we couldn't be doing all this. But it's truly being able to identify the right people for the job. And we do have openings now. So if there's anybody listening right now and you're like, hey, I want to be in Phoenix. I love Phoenix. Or you don't know anything about Phoenix, is that where we are hiring? We need some folks to help with the newsletters. We need people to work in the video department, audio departments, and marketing and sales. And so if you have a specific talent and you'd love to work with just a fabulous group of people, a wonderful group of people, then I think that this would be the place. I'm going to ask Wayne to chime in. Wayne is one of our tech directors. Wayne, no pressure. Do you like working here?
I love it.
Best place ever?
This is probably the best job I've ever had.
Okay, see? So that's what I'm saying. Not just me. And Wayne just did not tell me that because he's an employee. I know Wayne. Wayne would not do that. Never. And wouldn't let anybody. So if you're looking for a job, head over to commando.com/careers. Christina, again, thank you for your call. All right. The most invasive thing that can happen the next time you're on a plane is not the person in front of you reclining, it's data gathering. You may not realize that airlines are collecting and tracking your data. Your booking details, your name, your email, your phone number, and passport are given, as is the weight of your bag, and maybe even how much you weigh, depending on the airline. Now, if you use the onboard Wi-Fi, the sites you visit, what you search for, the apps you use, and more is being monitored. Other things airlines are collecting on you: what you drink or eat and when your beverage is empty, our flight history, complaints to see if you're a good passenger or not, what movies you like to watch for in-flight entertainment. So why are they so focused on flyer data? It's all about the cold, hard cash. Yes, it's just another way that this company, any company, will repackage your data and then sell it off to advertisers, marketers, or who knows else. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as a new threat at the gas pump I need to give you a warning about here on the Kim Komando Show.
Welcome to the Unlit Life. It's this place where you feel free, like enjoying a low-key get-together with friends instead of a wild night on the town style of free. When you can enjoy a moment with Blue Vapor just because. You know, the everyday doesn't have to feel so everyday. With Blue e-cigs, you can get stuff done and still have fun. And when we let ourselves get unlit, we start really living. Blue, get unlit. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale prohibited. Blue is a trademark of Fonum Holdings 4BV. Copyright 2022 Fonum US LLC.
Alrighty, then back to the phones we go with Scott in Wilmington, North Carolina. Hi there, Scott.
Well, a couple weeks ago, you did a segment on cars and privacy and data collection. And I was curious, what year did that really start in earnest? In other words, I tend toward older model cars just for the reason I value my privacy. So I was wondering, like, at what point am I going to have to start really doing research to find vehicles that don't really do this, or can the computers be disabled?
So what bothers you the most about the data tracking that happens in your car?
Well, just, where I drive, how much I drive, how fast I'm going, how fast I'm not going. It just, in general, I'm kind of a privacy nut.
Yeah, it's so hard to have privacy today, isn't it?
Yes.
It is 100%. You know, what's interesting about your call is, I don't know if you read in one of the newsletters, I actually put it in there because I thought it was so super interesting, is that a Dodge Ram truck from 2008, okay, is one of the hottest sellers right now. And they're still making it. The 2008 model. This is not a model that's from 2024. This is the 2008 model, the Dodge Ram truck, specifically because a lot of people don't like this tracking. And it's $34,000. And people are like, I want this truck, even though it's from 2008. I want that truck. I don't know if you remember the OnStar commercials in the early 2000s. Remember those?
Yeah.
That was kind of the start of a lot of the tech coming into the cars, because it had the location data, driving habits, vehicle diagnostics, and stuff like that. And then when we start hitting like 2010, then it really, really ramps up. And then we get into truly connected cars as we have now that are basically just floating computers on wheels. So if there was a car that you were looking for, I'd probably look at something in the 2000s. But
right now I drive a 2005 car and my wife has a 2002 car. So I think we're relatively safe.
You're relatively safe. But, there's a website called privacyforcars.com. Again, that's privacy for cars. And that's privacy, the number 4, by the way, cars.com. And what's really neat about this website is that you can type in your year, make, and model, and then it tells you what tracking is being done with that car. Whether it's, driver assistance programs, Wi-Fi, driving patterns, multimedia usage, whatever it may be. And again, that website is privacyforcars.com. As a matter of fact, I wrote a whole piece for the Daily Mail about this, because I write for USA Today, Fox News, and New York Post, and all these other places, and the Daily Mail. But if you hang on the line, Scott, Amber's going to give you a link to the column that I wrote. It's down there where it says privacyforcars.com, Amber. And it's a column that I wrote all about how your cars are truly connected computers. And here's what the data is that's being collected. And then I talk about this Privacy for Cars website that basically the way that they make money is that they do a factory reset on used cars so that if you buy a used car, you don't get everybody else's data. And in doing this, they put up this kind of like a little tool where you can, again, put in your make, model, and year of your car, and then you can see exactly what it's tracking about you. So, Scott, thank you for your call, and hang on so we can send you out that link. And let's see who's up next. Kathy in Greensboro, North Carolina, welcome.
Yes, I have some relatives and friends that are using these cash-making apps where they scan in their receipts from stores, gas pumps, where have you, and is supposedly making them money. I know you don't get something for nothing. So I'd like to know what the downside is of this.
Well, the biggest downside is the data collection, right? Because they're collecting what you buy, where you go, how much you spend, your behaviors. Then they're sharing your habits with who knows who. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they're going to be feeding you ads about who knows who and what knows what. They may be have access to your phone number, to your email address, because this is the way that they can contact you. You can certainly read the privacy policies, but nobody ever does that, right?
No.
And so it's really a matter of personal preference. I mean, are you okay with giving out all your personal information that's going to be sold, or are you not, for whatever it may be? Maybe it's 10 cents off a gallon of gas, right? Or maybe it's a couple of dollars back because you spent $20 at Target or whatever it may be. And also take a look at permissions and access that some of these apps have. Of course, now if you're going to be scanning a receipt, guess what? It needs access to your camera. It's going to need access to your location, because that's going to be tied to where you are when you purchase something. So what you can do is, maybe try to avoid oversharing. Look at the app reviews to see if other people are getting spammed, or they're getting a lot of, weirdo text messages because they suddenly signed up for this. Keep in mind that, this is never going to replace a job. This is never going to replace something like an employment. This is maybe a couple of $100 a month, and maybe some gift cards along the way, or maybe you're going to be saving money, like I mentioned, on gas, or maybe you get $10 back at the grocery store. So if you're okay with giving up all your information for that, then that's the way that it is. But if you're not, then just avoid using them. And thank you for your call. Hey, by the way, if you're ever too shy to just give me a call here on our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line at 1-888-825-5254, you can always drop me your questions on the website. Just head over to commando.com and hit that link that says Ask Kim. When you hit the gas pump, you've got that routine down pat, right? You give the card reader a little wiggle, you check the keypad, and you make sure that those tamper-evident seals are not broken. So just when you thought you had it all figured out, yes, credit card skimmers. Those are the scammers. They place atop card readers. They capture the data from the card's magnetic strip. Well, now there's something different. Shimmers. These are way harder to detect. They slide right into the card slot. They target the chip on your card. They steal the data from your chip, your card number, and the PIN. And then the fraudsters clone your card, and they just go on this massive shopping spree. So how do you fight back? Well, when you're sliding your credit card into the reader, I want you to pay close attention to how it feels. If there's an odd resistance, or if your card seems to get stuck, big red flag. Take a good look at the card reader, too. The best bet is to pay for gas using just a tap of your phone's Apple Pay or Google Wallet. Hey, do me a solid and tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show, because everyone needs more tech smarts, and knowledge is power.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.
The savings are even bigger at the Plato's Closet 70% off clearance kickoff sale. This Saturday, specially marked clearance items are 70% off. Plato's Closet already sells your favorite brands and styles for way less than mall prices. But right now, you can save even more. Don't miss saving on specially marked clearance items like tees, jeans, dresses, shoes, and more. This Saturday only at Plato's Closet's clearance kickoff sale. With 14 locations in the Atlanta area, find your nearest location at platoscloset.com.